So I do want to watch a little bit of film here with you. I'm not sure we'll get through everything, but I want to at least touch base with some of it because, like you said, nobody watches more film than you. And it's not just watching and consuming it from an entertainment standpoint, it's watching as a student of the game. And so what we're going to do here is I want to look first at the 2022 Chicago Luau Finals. So you're playing with Tyler Wills and Kyle Ratty, and you're taking on Dinas, Bergens, Joe Smalzer, and Ian Zaleski. So at this point, Smalzer and Dinas are not playing as much as they used to, but obviously extremely decorated,
How many
talented
ball ride titles
players.
between them?
I think 3 between them. So this is definitely a high-level match, and the finals at the Luau are always good ball. Semis are also usually good ball too.
It's also just such a fun tournament because you're playing on a fairway. It becomes faster and more athletic, so you're kind of getting the best of the athletes in terms of the level of play because you can do a little bit more.
Although I never understood why the hell they put the court orientated so that you're staring at the sunrise in the morning and the sunset in the afternoon. They should just rotate it 90 degrees so there's not that factor. But anyways.
Since then, they've made the adjustment.
Let's take a look at this match here. And what I want to give you, Chandler, is we're just going to let it ride, and you've got the control here. You can fast forward, rewind with the left and right arrows, and I want you to point out what you're seeing, and then I'll ask some questions along the way. So we'll get started here. Okay. So in case you guys aren't sure who's who, Chandler is in the t-shirt and the hat and the good Tofta shorts on the near side, with Ratty is the tall guy in the hat. And Wills is wearing the Milwaukee dive shorts. And we got the other guys on the other side. Joe Smalzer, the lefty, serving.
That ball missed by like 2 inches, I swear. Like, we knew Smalzer was dangerous from the line, like leading NCAA and aces and whatnot. But Tyler and I, for years, this isn't at the back of the summer of 2022, we only passed 2. We were never in a pass 3 team. So it was interesting if we were going to be able to hold up against their serving pass. Like, look at the success they're having with the seams, with the curves. So that's obviously the biggest thing when you're a pass 2 team. Can you hold up and serve receive against the big guns? So, like, what am I looking for in film? Like, first and foremost, I'm always looking at opponents and what I call is their get out of jail. So, like, Smalls are here. You can see earlier his first swing was scuddy and to the left. And then here, I go to double block, knowing if he's tight on Kyle or anything, his getaway shot is going to be flat and wrist away. So Ian actually talks on his set there, like one option or angle or whatever, and I said, not one, because like he said one block, and I was like, not one, because I thought I had it, and sure enough, he just beat me with that slight flat. So when I'm watching film, the first thing I'm looking for is what is a hitter's get out of jail, so that I know if he's set even remotely tight, I know what move I have to make as a blocker. Right. And having done that now for like 6 years, I can watch someone swing 5 times in hitting lines, or like the first 2 swings, the first 10 points of a game, anywhere around the country, and now I know how to really play them. And okay, I'm going to get at least 1 block on this guy from this move.
Yeah, I think that's something that more than any other skill that you've used to kind of improve your game, apart from becoming a more consistent hitter, is your blocking. I think.
I wish there were stats on the tour, AVP Grass Tour, and then even just local tournaments, because there's been a stretch here, kind of the last 2 years, where I don't know that anyone's getting more blocks than I am. Just getting healthier, further over the net, and then now the vision paired with it. So like 4 years ago for me, I was really watching what beach blockers were doing. And for me, it never worked because I can't shuffle or stand. And now you watch almost every single block move I do now since like 2024 on. It's this big
crossover.
Like even a hitter that might approach at their 100%, I swear my block move is a higher percentage of effort, like, and dynamicism. So like I'm getting my best jump as a blocker that most people aren't getting as blockers.
Well, I think at least in the sand, one of the reasons people don't do that as much is that
You can't do it.
it's exhausting.
Your crossover swing blocking movements in the sand. Just a nasty serve there from Tyler. But like one other thing I'm looking for in film is like different players I feel like I can play with. So I mentioned like the defensive moves, being able to defend the perimeter, but also like what serve swing choices are working. So like over the last 5-6 years, I think there's been a big shift in grass triples. No one's figured it out or perfected it. So
it's an evolving game.
So
all
like
the time.
when Felix won Boat Ride, and you with Kyle were having all this success, it seemed like it was a big man's game. Pass three, chuck it high and tight, and let the big guy go be big. And I think teams made big adjustments to then double block. So we're at a stretch here where we think with Ratty and I double blocking and Tyler roaming, that's the best way to go.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this particular play here. So they're back here passing three. They've struggled a little bit.
It's out of system. We take out setter, so we know it's one option.
Right, and Joe backsetting is not the best option, right?
So it starts with a serve, the serving strategy from Tyler.
Put up the double, and obviously Dynas hits a roll shot here, but in order to score this, he had to hit the sideline, you know?
The outside of the sideline.
The outside of the sideline.
So you're just playing percentages. How much space can I take up? So I think teams kind of made the adjustment in this era-ish of mainly having two blockers, that blockers were taking up more space than diggers.
Right.
And now I think
trusting that under pressure, the double block is going to cause more errors than a big hitter who perhaps doesn't
makes
have
an
a
error
great
by
vision.
ripping it at you, but you still have to convert it.
Right. You know, Bill Kolinsky and Joe Smalzer, when they won Boat Ride with Skylar Del Sol, did that exact strategy. Smalzer and Skylar bombed jump serves. Bill Kolinsky is a master of the tactical float serve. And
Serve at EN, you could float serve there, and you kind of get the look that you want then.
Right.
So again, we get the big double block setup, and sure enough, it bears fruit there. So like the playing with smart players that have, like in this tournament, the whole playoffs, we didn't make one single block call. We were blocking ball, and Tyler was roaming.
Right.
And the knowledge and experience, Kyle has, 15 years under his belt at this point? Tyler has 15 years of his belt at this point. He started playing tournaments when he was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
So guys who had the same types of reads, and just through a course of pool play, this was a really fun and cool tournament for me because it felt like we figured it out. Like I feel like Tyler and I now have this chemistry, and we've mastered the game, and that our reads are in sync.
Yeah, you know, that reading element is a fun way to play. It's also a way sometimes if you feel like you're in a rut defensively, just say ignore the call and go make a play. You know, be patient, be disciplined, but you know, trust your reading ability and make a play. And it kind of like gets your eyes open. So, you know, actually when I played with Max Martin a lot in doubles, yeah, I didn't quite get the right hip rotated early enough there. Maybe over-rotated, actually. So
like, it gets right under my right. I didn't quite get, the space in hip, my hip to Kyle's hip, there's too much space. So even with the slight reach, you can't get it.
Yeah,
but you can pick all that stuff out in film. You wouldn't really know what you got to do differently. Like I shuffled, I did the swing block move, but after you watch it for 5 years, you really learn a lot about your own game and your own moves.
Absolutely. Well, after watching Joe and Bill win Boat Ride double blocking, I was convinced that double blocking was the way of the future. And I would play with people, and over again we would say, okay, we're going to double block as much as possible. And then they would just drop off the net. And it was so frustrating. I felt like, so I've been trying to double block a lot, and I will, I don't do it constantly, but I do like to throw in a lot of, try to be sneaky with it and grab opportunities to double block.
Yeah.
And that's been a part of my game I've tried to do since I think that 2013 tournament that they won. But I think the reading element is also something that I learned from playing beach doubles a lot as a tool to just kind of really think about what the other side is doing rather than what you want them to do. If I call a 4, for example, I'm trying to make them want to hit into my angle block or roll shot down the line away from me. And if I'm able to like just say, okay, I'm going to remove the expectation from it and just focus on what am I seeing and react and try to take away what I'm seeing, sometimes it kind of frees up your whole team to kind of maximize their individual
and you
skills.
got to communicate your way through it. So like this exact play is a perfect example. So we're talking that I'm responsible for the line. I'm not calling line, but if he hits this sideline down the line, it's kind of my ball. But watch this move. We always were on the same page that if ever Joe's in rhythm or showing angle, we have freedom to triple up because it's so hard of a hit and it's so flat and scuddy that it's beneficial to take your chance and make him do something weird with the full turn versus giving up his primary get out of jail type of shot.
You know, one thing, I wonder if this is something you recognize sometimes too. Certain shots that hitters have, actually, we'll hold that for a second. I want to talk about this. I don't know if you find this true or not, but when I play against lefties and they see an opportunity to swing line, I feel like they always take it. And I don't know if that's like even more than righties. Like, so Joe, when I've played against Joe, like he lets that ball drift a little bit to his right, like he's gonna hit it line. He hardly ever does the thumb down extreme outside the, and there's other guys like that too. Adam Gustafson is another one from obviously less height and less power. And so, and even Landon to an extent, I think his bailout swing is to go high line or deep 5-6 seam.
Yeah, I won't give up any secrets on Landon because we're gonna play a bunch again this summer, but
well,
I've now seen his, like playing with him and watching him obviously because we played a ton together. You kind of get some ideas of, and then we use that offensively to keep ourselves diverse so that if teams start to hedge and cheat and do certain things, we can still get openings.
Yeah, can fudge it. But what I was saying is sometimes you see, so you're talking about hitter tendencies and how you can stop the tendency, but I feel like there's also opportunities sometimes to encourage the tendency and take advantage of it in a different way. Almost in a sense, like rather than making them change the tendency, it's like I want them to do that tendency. Is that something you think about sometimes?
Yes, and it comes into play the most for me with serving strategy. So when we played with Ian, Tyler and I, Ian had developed a jump serve, but he always had a good float, and especially a short float serve.
Yeah,
so
hardly ever misses.
We would float serve, either me, Tyler, or Ian, early in matches, short, to see what they did as a tendency offensively. And then I swear at like 90% hit rate, you do that same short serve late under pressure, they would pass it the same type of way, set it the same type of way, and or swing the same type of way. And we would then take our chance on that one. So we would manipulate a tendency like that via serving strategy. If we serve at this side of the court, he stays behind and then he swings line behind. Or if we serve the outside short, then he only has angle.
So are you like, do you ever potentially sacrifice a point in a match in order to gain a point later? Like as a strategy?
We don't necessarily sacrifice it intentionally, but we would serve something and defend certain ways to see what they do.
And then change it later.
And then we knew that we could come back to it.
Okay. Yeah, one of my earliest moments of doing something like encouraging the tendency was playing in Double-A at Boat Ride against Jeremy Dano, who was at the time playing at UC Irvine as an outside from New Berlin High School. Guy had just a monster sharp angle swing, and I knew that he was athletic enough and smart enough as a player that if we started trying to block the super sharp angle, that he would just hit deep six and then we would lose, because deep six is it's almost undefendable in grass triples.
Yeah.
And so instead of trying to block that, we would kind of encourage it wide open. Now, I just played a full semester of D1 libero at Rutgers, and I was like, I bet I can dig a handful of those. And so I put my helmet on and said, all right, like, let him swing at me. And that's what we did. Because you only have to win by 2.
Yeah.
And so we converted like 3 of them, and then we won the match. And
Yep.
went on to take, I think, 3rd that year. And
That works until you play Kyle Overby at Boat Ride, and you're like, guys, just sit right here, put your helmet on, go make a play, and then you're like, the dude just went 40 for 42. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Yeah, sometimes you just tip your cap, and against players like that, for example, against you now, or against Tyler Wills at this point in his career, or Mikolau, it's not really about stopping them. It's like, what can I do to make it hard on them?
Yeah.
And then how can I maximize my efficiency? So that at the end of the day, if I side out 65% and they side out 64, and I get 1 ace and they get 0, we win the match.
Yep.
So it's really a game of inches. I do want to switch here a little bit. You guys go on to win this match, kind of dominate game 2, and I think run away with it at the end of game 3.
The amount of times I played with Kyle where our blocking can just take over a game or flip it, the longer the match goes, the advantage it shifted to Kyle and I, because we would get multiple looks at hitters, and then all of a sudden they had to hit their plan B shot. So
it's that pressure building up over time. I do want to, since we do run the Fresh Coast Champions Cup here, I do want to take a look at our final a little bit from this season. Now, this tournament is the 3rd year we ran it, and you guys play in all 3 years, right?
Yep.
So, what has the experience been like for you playing in this tournament, and why was this the year that you won it?
A couple things. So one, what does Fresh Coast feel like? One, it feels like a national event because you help bring in players from around the country. You kind of have that ambiance with stadium, DJ, and the level of play I think is so elevated with that format of not having a rigorous pool play.
Right.
So guys can come in and just be ready to go right from the get-go.
Fresh the whole day.
Yeah. So one, the level of play, it's different. It's probably a higher, cleaner level of play than normal tournaments because you don't have to do 12 hours worth of work, and you have to go right from the get-go. And then secondly, it's unique. You're playing teams from kind of out of the area. So like I mentioned earlier, like instead of playing guys that you know super, super well the whole time where you're constantly doing your plan B, plan C, because they're going to defend your plan A, now it's my best punch versus their best punch in a sense. So that's kind of what Fresh Coast feels like tactically, volleyball-wise. Why was this year so successful and so fun? The year prior, Tyler got injured. We had a bad showing. So I wanted to avenge that a little bit. And then 2, Evan, Landon, and I had a lot of success in the turf in the winter, but we weren't signed up for a ton of tournaments together. And we had some success in outdoor in the few events we did. So it was special for me to play with Landon and Evan because, one, I thought our chemistry was strong. Emotionally, tactically, we had the chemistry at this point, and then we hadn't had the really chance to show it nationally at this point yet. So it was kind of a breaking out of the scene, although I think locally people knew Landon. It was a chance for us to kind of show what we could really do. So
yeah, and I think another element that is good about this is on this particular team, you're the worst server.
Yeah.
And you are a very good server. And so
I wasn't the worst server this day, I'll tell you that much.
No.
But for sure, in aggregate, that's why I served 3.
So, I think having that extra component of service pressure across every opportunity helps make you guys a deadlier team. There's no because having a great tactical serve that sets up a really difficult defense can be a very successful long-term tactic, but getting an ace is a really efficient way of scoring a point.
Just like that. Evan,
like
right
that.
on cue.
And that's his best serve, is that
Scud
just
ball.
slightly to the right of zone 5, where it gets on you quick, and sometimes you're like, I don't want to pass it, and you want the seam person to take it, and it's a little far for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here you're playing against Nate Miller, back serve. He's from Pennsylvania. I think he lives in Florida now. Travels all over, playing all over the country. Eddie Martinov, who I had never seen or heard of before this event, but I was pretty impressed with. I thought he was a very good ball control player, excellent in serve receive, excellent hands, a lot of range with his swing. And then Herschel Thacker, who has been
legend.
Absolute legend in the game of grass volleyball and indoor, founder of Lights Out Volleyball, which is a nonprofit now that helps disadvantaged youth find opportunities to play through high-level coaching and clinics and stuff. But also before that was a long-time pro team that I played on for years. I think you had some time on that as well. And just he's been through a lot of health and a lot of issues and injuries kind of late in his career, but still just a very good location setter who can put up a money ball over and over again. And so he's going to ride Nate as hard as he can in this match. So knowing that Eddie's hardly ever going to get set, what are you guys doing tactically here? And watching back, how successful do you think at doing that were you?
Well, a couple things. We thought a lot of our strength and pressure relief was going to be offensively. So really they have one physical player in Nate. So in every side out option, we can either swing over the top of Herschel or over the top of Eddie. So as long as we kept the side out clean and the offensive pressure on him, it was going to be hard on Nate. So we were kind of reacting to if they were setting him tight, Landon and I could be real aggressive as blockers. If not, because of how they treated it, with Nate getting 80+% of the sets, that offside blocker, if not going, could get in a really good positioning. So when you're in a really good position and or you're able to allocate 2 blockers like Landon and I, if they're setting tight, and your side out is clean, that's just a lot of pressure on them. And then like for us, we feel like we fight off aces really well. So with both of us being good hitters, you can give yourself up entirely. Whereas if we take out Nate in serve receive and Herschel's got to send something back to Eddie, and Eddie hasn't been swinging, so he's out of rhythm, like there's another advantage to us. So advantage from the service line, and then although Nate can get super hot and he hits really effectively,
here's an example
just keep
of taking
that pressure.
Advantage of the matchup, setting away from Nate. Okay, yeah, so here's an example of setting the matchup, forcing Eddie to be the physical blocker that he, isn't really, and then swinging that high.
Yeah, and just the size of being able to jump well. So like that wasn't even that clean of a shot. It landed 10 feet in from the baseline, but it's not, if the blocker isn't preventing that, the diggers don't have a chance to have it.
Yeah. But yeah, Nate obviously can hit. I won a tournament with him, Sixes tournament, where he was very physical all the time. I've played against him numerous times. But really, it's a team game, and Herschel, Eddie, and Nate did really well to make it to the finals here, and obviously they're a challenge. There's that ball control I'm talking about from Eddie.
And I feel like if they had played more triples tournaments together, I know Nate and Eddie had played together. I don't know if Herschel knew Eddie's game at all.
I don't think so.
But with how we were hedging and stacking towards Nate, if they had played together and felt comfortable setting Eddie, I mean, he had gone to a Pottstown semifinal. The dude can hit and score. So there's a way to open up more if they had a slightly higher chemistry that I think is the difference with Landon, Evan, and I down the stretch in this.
Yeah, and you can also see too that you have to be creative and not super predictable. I mean, occasionally you can be super predictable and find success when you have a hitter like Landon or a hitter like Kyle Overby, but you still need the absolute buy-in and the adaptability from everybody on the team. And that's something like when I've been playing with Lang and Overby, or adding in other guys into that rotation like Nolan. I think all of us are willing to sacrifice a little bit of what we're capable of doing in order for the team to do what it is capable of doing.
Yeah.
Like, could I be a really successful hitter as
primary
the main
attacker.
hitter? Like, yeah, absolutely. I've won many tournaments doing that. But I think our team is going to be best served by having Kyle fulfill that role, and then my role is to be a very excellent ball control player, hit when needed, and just serve that as hard as possible all the time. And that way we lessen Kyle's full responsibilities and allow him to focus on what's best for the team. And so, I think having experience of figuring out what that is for your group of 3 individuals is certainly helpful. What did this tournament mean to you in compared to like other events that you've played in? And when I was watching you guys play, it seemed like this was a very meaningful win for you and a very meaningful opportunity to play. I'm just wondering if that's true and why that was.
Yeah, definitely true. There's an element of like defending your home turf. I always felt it at the MSOE tournament, being in downtown Milwaukee. So this one's been held in downtown Milwaukee, and being at Veterans Park here this year, I mean, I started a pickup group that would play Tuesdays and Thursdays there, just out of college, out on the grass. So like that exact grass surface is like where I grew up playing grass out of college. But like it meant something defending your home turf. So that's first and foremost. And then like this is a team that I think there's a lot of potential in the future. So to prove that we're already there at the winning caliber meant a lot as well.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who organizes these events, I really have appreciated your buy-in over the previous 3 years, and seeing top players really give it their all and come with the mindset of preparedness and the work ethic to bring in that's required for victory is really kind of like gratifying, and the right word escapes. It makes me feel that it's validating, for the what I'm trying to achieve
I think
here.
The success the tournament's had, one of the highest level matches I've ever seen is when Mikolau played with Cap and Nate against you guys, and I'm like, this is the future of grass volleyball. All of them are able to set, pass, hit, and there's options and there's tempo, and I was like, when I thought the double blocking and big boy high ball setting had kind of taken over and been bulletproof, now you add this wrinkle that has tempo, options, and whatnot, and you're like, that's gonna beat these teams if it's done effectively. It's so aggressive and so risky, and these teams are doing it so clean that I'm like, wow. So like, Fresh Coast is here to stay. I'm excited for what it's got in store for next year, and we're gonna do our best to defend it. And it's cool to just see that level of play so close to home.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being a part of it. I want to kind of bring things into full circle here. Actually, you know what? We got to talk about the flop.
Let's do it.
That's. I'm sure that we'll get grilled if we don't talk about it. So I have it queued up here. Now, Team Moss Volley this year was Aaron Lang, who was our fourth, with Nolan Albright, Kyle Overby, and we picked up Chase Frischman, and we're playing against you, Landon Krause, and Ian Kapp in the quarterfinals at Boat Ride. Had a tight match so far. Both of us are kind of employing the same strategy, which is set our big hitter as much as possible.
Yep.
And we have a big crowd. Pretty much everybody rooting for you is on this side, and everybody rooting for us is all the old guys over here who mostly just like Aaron Lang, I think. And but anyway, we're in game 3, and Landon's on a little bit of a serving run, and then this happens.
Comedic
Let's
gold.
just watch it one more time. So 2-0, tight pass, Nolan dives.
Almost takes out my knee. What the heck, Nolan? No, so a couple things. So one thing about me that I've always been so proud of is I've never not posted film. Like, even if I played like shit, had a terrible loss or anything like, I was authentic in just bringing the volleyball to people. So it's like, not like I'm gonna hide from anything like this.
Yeah.
And then secondly, there's a lot of history or background that comes into this. So I played a ton of soccer growing up, watched a ton of soccer. Obviously, stuff like that happens in the professional soccer forever and ever. And in high school basketball, I was 170 pounds thin going against 240-pound football guys because I was the biggest guy on our team. So I worked really hard in basketball to learn positioning, footwork, and if someone didn't follow the rules and pushed off with their arms or was too aggressive, I became very good at taking charges in basketball. I actually fouled out a lot of really strong basketball players in high school, and it was a very valuable skill. So like having an upbringing where it was rewarded in a sense is something that is context for this. And then the second thing is, like, we all know the rules in the Wisconsin circuit. If there's contact on our side of the net, then it would be the point for us. So there's even a historical play that I referenced when I chopped up this match of Nolan Setter down at Marshall's running through, and I let him make the play, and I like paused the play after, but I go to the ref, I'm like, we weren't able to defend as a result of it. And the AVP certified ref goes, well, he didn't make contact, I can't call anything for you. So like all that context leads up to like, I want to win this match so bad. I want to win this match so bad for Landon. He's playing like a superhero out there. And I want to keep his service run going. So I love Nolan so much. I got so much respect for him as a person, for his game. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's following the rules of the game and going to get a point in a highly competitive game.
So on the rule side of it, there's two components that need to happen in order to have an interference call. The first is that there's contact, right? Now the contact rule isn't in the rule book, but that's the interpretation of it. Refs will not call it if there's no contact. The second rule is that you need to be making a play on the ball.
Not in Wisconsin grass.
Well, I don't know if there is an official Wisconsin grass rule book, but the official rule book of the sport of volleyball is that you need to be making a play on the ball. I think, well, when I was live in this moment, I was not paying attention to what was happening here. So I was not able to, and nor would it have been my place as the sponsor or coach of the team to argue this. But watching it back, I think what's missing here is that you're not making a play on the ball. And so therefore I think I would not call that interference, especially because the ball ended up going away from you. And I think there is a little bit of performance to it.
For sure.
You know, I think another thing, you talk about history too, I don't know if you remember this, but when we played Nolan, Skylar, and myself against you, Wills, and Ian in the Clash 2022.
Some wild calls.
There was a play in Game 3 where I got called for interference, but I was the blocker, and you had come under, and
that one makes no sense. You got to crop that one in first off.
Yeah, we'll crop it in, but
so I think that so one. I mean,
we dug it.
John King was protecting us in a sense. It was the wrong call. But
he
there were
told me
times
as much after that it was
broad jumping under the net where it was dangerously close, or like you had really aggressive plays. And Ian was starting to ask for it a couple times, so I think he was particularly keen to it. And then I don't know how he made.
Well, the thing about it too, in the final that year, Angel Dasha came under over and over and over again, and Nolan actually twisted his ankle at one point, landing on Angel as Nolan was blocking. And that's normally what happens: is the hitter comes under, and the blocker lands on it. This is a little bit perhaps more unique of a play, in since it's somebody trying to pull a ball out from under the net. But you know, the way the rule is with needing contact and the play on the ball in order to make it. I mean, that's what it is in the official rule book. That's what they'll call on the AVP.
Okay, we can ask all the Wisconsin grass community that goes to all the tournaments here in Wisconsin that uses for the WPACA rules, and that's why the poll of the crowd here
unless it's
gave a point.
Unless it's codified, I don't think that's the rule. But
and we've shared this stance. We've said to Boat Ride for years, how do you not write down your rules? Like
and have refs.
The oddest system, having a fifth sub or playing full matches when it's 1 to 30.
Right.
Like that's a huge advantage as a stronger team to either rest your guys or play a full match versus 1 to 30.
More opportunities to distance yourself.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I was like, WPACA Boat Ride, you're too good of a tournament. It's too fun of an environment.
And having a ref in this situation as opposed to us yelling about it under the net.
Not a good look for anyone.
You know? But ultimately, even the way the rule is written with those standards is an unsafe rule, which I think we need to preserve.
Contact.
We need to preserve the health of the players. You know, all those times that, like, Nolan landed on Angel, those aren't interference calls. There's no center line, so they're not calling a center line violation. Angel's getting the kill. We don't have a play on the ball. Nolan doesn't have a play on the ball. Yeah. And it's not just the team. It needs to be the individual that's interfered with. They need to have an opportunity to make a play on the ball. And the way that rule is written and exists, it does promote a little bit of an unsafe element. And I think that's an area that the officials could modify the rules to make this a safer play. Because Nolan diving towards you, I mean, you could have lined up anywhere, and I'm not really sure where the interpretation. I think personally, this move that you make to the left is one that I would say, I don't know if this ball lands in. I think it lands out
anyways.
But I think it would have been probably a point I would have argued for a replay. But as it is, that's not what happened, and you guys go on to win this match in 2. I remember talking to Chase about it, and he said he held up his hands in that replay and got booed by a whole bunch of the crowd. He was like,
because the crowd knows the rules that Wisconsin goes by, even though they're unwritten.
I don't think the rules are what they're rooting for. I think they're just rooting for you and Landon as the hometown guys. But in any case, it's a viral moment. I'll just leave you with this here. This is from PME Volleyball. I don't know.
I love this video. I peed my pants laughing from this.
Is this Charlie? Is this Furbringer's, Matt Furbringer's son?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, in any case.
Save some.
I'm generally astonished about what I just saw right there. That might be the first successful flop we've seen in the game of volleyball. That blocker saw an opportunity and he took it. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's your perspective, the opportunity to taking the opportunity. Anyway, that's the flop. Great matches sometimes are enhanced by a little controversy, right? It makes them a little more memorable. I want to bring it back to full circle. We've talked about your journey, but let's talk about what's next for you. What drives you to keep going? You sent me the Tom Brady tribute speech to the Players Tribune, and what are the resonant points in that you think that speak to you personally, and how does that keep you going forward?
Yeah, so for context, it's the name of the article, or the objective, it's called Keep Playing Life. It's Tom Brady's mantra. He's in the 2-week gap before the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, and it starts off with poor build, lacks athleticism, doesn't have the arm strength, and it says this is his draft combine review. And then it talks about all the players in the Super Bowl. How many of them were 5-star recruits in college? Very few.
One.
There was 3 stars, 2 stars, no star recruits, and that's who made the Super Bowl rosters. It's 10 years down the road in their careers. So who had the character skills? Who put in the work over those 10 years to be their best at that moment? And why that moment was so much bigger and more important than how good they were at age 17 when the recruitment happened. So that meant a lot to me because I picked up volleyball late. It's my motivation to keep going. It's like, it's one thing, I don't know how good I can be. Okay, so I'm uncertain, so I had a good run, now I stop. Or what if this could be something super special? What if I can win something like Wapaka Boat Ride and be the most recent local guy or the last like 6 foot attacker to really do that? Like, I don't know where the game's going, but I think there's this opportunity ahead of me that if I keep that mantra, that mindset, and learn, and that speech or article just really resonated with me, and it continues to be a way that I look at grass volleyball. Like, I would hate to hang up the hat too soon when I know I can put in more work than other people and go make something even cooler out about it. So that's kind of the mindset to it. And like, what am I chasing or what's next? I kind of mentioned the MVP of a summer. I kind of have, you and I have had the chance to compete at the national level, going to the Clash this year, but to go win one outside a region that is a true national tournament.
Well, I hate that loss.
That's a tough one.
One thing that's tough about it too, you talk about keep playing the game, stay in it, keep making the work. And I don't know any better than to keep making the work and to stay in it. But I also feel like at this point in my life, like my body is just betraying me in a sense, even though my mind still wants to achieve those things. And that was an event where I felt like if I was healthy and able to like just push harder physically,
we had it,
you know. And I think like if we were to run it back, I would obviously want to make sure that I'm not going to let you guys down physically. There's some tactical changes I'd probably make as well, but you know, staying in the game. Like you don't know when it's going to end for you, and so you got to keep.
You don't know when your opportunity is going to break free. Like, it's hard to win. Like, those are big, lofty goals. Like, be the best for an entire summer. Go win a national AVP Grass Tour type tournament. Go win Wapaka Boat Ride. Like, it takes 8 chances to have 2 really good opportunities to then have your day and go win one. So that's kind of what I'm chasing. And like, I mean,
the next level.
Yeah.
You know, I won Circle Tap. I won Luau.
Yeah.
You know, so there's other wins that take on more meaning, that become more special. Yeah. So right now you got a coach today. What does this off season look like for you? What's the plan?
So the winter for me is combined with a couple things. So with the Milwaukee Dive and the Volleyball League of America, there's good competitive indoor sixes. I think sixes is important because you have to be very powerful and very athletic in the indoor game.
And make really fast reads.
Yeah, so that speed and power side of the game, I think, is a differentiator for me come summer, where a lot of the guys are sand players and maybe rely a little bit too much on float serves, soft shots, things like that. And then I also kind of pair it with, and I'm very grateful for, our like Kelly's Bleachers sand sessions. I also go up to the bar in Oshkosh to play some sand. So like the mix of indoor sand and indoor hard court throughout the winter pairs super well to get ready for grass.
Well, cool, man. I hope to be out there with you training, and I agree. I think a combined approach. If you want to be the best possible volleyball player, you gotta do it on different surfaces. Yep. It's the constraints-led approach, right? You got to change the environment so that you can grow. But Chandler, I think this has been great. I love talking about the game, and you're one of the best people to do it with, and hopefully our viewers enjoy it. We'll probably chop this up in a couple episodes since there's so much good stuff, but thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cheers.